Chief, mate, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm back. This is Tech Coach Ralph, and we are back for another Q&A session. It is 4th of July in the US, and I wanted to wish everyone watching a happy Independence Day. And we are celebrating Independence Day with our Q&A session because we don't miss. We celebrate our freedom by having the ability to keep pushing forward, keep getting great, and we don't quit. So we're doing it earlier today because it is 4th of July and there's going to be tons of festivities later. Got some things I need to do in the afternoon, but I was not going to leave your questions unanswered. So I'm here for you. All right. So let's see here. Let's take care of some housekeeping. All right. So let's look at the show agenda. So yeah, like I said earlier, happy Independence Day to everyone in the United States and to everyone outside of the United States, because this amazing country also allows many other countries to maintain their freedom as well. So happy Independence Day to the United States of America and to many other countries as well, because we empower you. So with that being said, next, I want to thank all of the new subscribers and previous subscribers for continuing to rock with this channel. Thank you for all that you do, for your support, for watching the videos, for your questions, everything. We appreciate you. All right. Next thing, I want to share the live show schedule. So as you see, as you saw on the intro, like where we're getting warmed up for the show, I have a slideshow of the upcoming shows. So it has today's show, and then it has the Thursday show that's coming up, which we're going to finish up the Citronella page object model package in Python, which it was so great to have the author of that package join us last Thursday as we were implementing it. Hopefully the author can join us again as we finish it up. And then we finished our Selenium Wire. For now, we finished our Selenium Wire series, implementing it locally, implementing it on Docker locally, implementing it on AWS EC2 instance with Docker, and then with the AWS device farm. So we finished that up. So we're going to move on. So as you saw in the thumbnail for our upcoming Sunday show, we are going to stick a little bit more to the infrastructure, but it's going to be a mixture of infrastructure and code, because we are going to be implementing our QA metrics, because QA metrics are very, very important to know the health of our product and of our QA ability, all of that good stuff. So we're going to be implementing Report Portal. A few weeks ago, I created an overview of what Report Portal was, and we are finally ready to implement it. So we're going to have a live implementation. We're going to set up an EC2 instance where we get the right size of the instance that we need. We're going to install Docker. We're going to install Report Portal, and then we're going to log into Report Portal and configure it. Then we're going to take one of our, or maybe no, more than one. We're going to take like a couple of our implementations from, like, our automated implementations from Python and from Java. We're going to configure it the right way that Report Portal needs. So that way we can be sending Java reporting to it from Selenium, and we can send Python reporting from it. So it shows the diversity of, it can be pretty much any language, and that gets filtered into Report Portal, and then we're going to configure it, our dashboards and all that good stuff, so we can see our metrics. So it'll be like, QA metrics are very important. So I really hope that you can join us on the live stream to see how we're going to do that. Let's see. So that's our upcoming shows for this week. Our live stream schedule is Sunday afternoons, around 2:15 Eastern time, that we are going to be doing our software explorations right now, more based on infrastructure. Tuesdays, usually Tuesday nights around 7:15 p.m. Eastern time, but today we're doing it early, 10:15-ish. We're doing our Q&A session where we're going to, we source questions from around the web, from different people, from the live chat, from comments, anything. And we are going to, we answer those questions live, right? And then we have our Thursday nights where we do it's also software exploration, usually more based on the coding side, not as much as infrastructure. So that's coming up this Thursday, 2 days from now. That is around 7:15 p.m. where we get started, and we go for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Depends how far we can get. So that's our live stream schedule. And then we have our pre-recorded schedule where we have Mondays. We have our candid conversations where I give general insight, feedback. I've had some interview reflections from when I was interviewing for different jobs, the process that goes through. I have different, from talks from coaching sessions, just different things in general, right? Just candid conversations, real talk. Then we have Wednesday, which is a software exploration, but more on a theory-based and overviews, presentations, although the past couple of weeks we've done getting started with Selenium WebDriver in Python and in Java. Tomorrow we're going to be finishing up our Python. And then I think we're going to go from there. We're going to be more on presentation-based and prepping up for our live streams. So I think that's the format that we're going to use for that. And on Friday, which is one of my favorites, is the Bug Bite. And the Bug Bite is where we review what do we call it? Different bugs that have bitten companies, right? And some bugs, so we source different articles and we talk about the bugs and what happened. So we had one on the Tesla that caught on fire. As you saw in the thumbnail slideshow, the Tesla that caught on fire maybe 2 months ago on a California highway. We had the OceanGate Titan submersible that imploded in deep below the ocean when it was trying to explore the Titanic. So we have the Bug Bite, and just providing different content, different perspectives. All of these things are very important for whether you're a QA engineer or software engineer, cybersecurity, whatever it is that you're doing, DevOps engineer, anything that you're doing. You're getting these perspectives so you can see the mindset of IT professionals or the mindset that you should have as IT professionals, right? So keep that in mind. So look out for those shows. So that's Monday, Candid Conversations, Wednesdays, Software Explorations, Fridays, the Bug Bite. All right, so look out for that. One more thing to address, before we start our Q&A session, one more thing, because I've seen this around, right? Where, how would I say this? So people are talking about they're bored in their careers, they're not, it's not fulfilling and all that type of stuff, right? So, and then just to add to that, it's so it's not fulfilling. Whether if they're in IT or something like that, that's one thing. But then you have some people who are not in the STEM fields and their careers aren't fulfilling or it doesn't pay enough and all that. But they went to college for whatever particular degree, and then they spend a lot of money, rack up a lot of debt, student loan debt, which apparently is not going to be forgiven. So sorry for you. Yeah, but it is what it is, right? So you gotta do something with that. But here's the thing that happens, right? So now they racked up $150,000 in student loan debt, and they got all these degrees that they're unhappy with and that they can't use. But now it's time and they've been working in this for 10 years out of college, right? And they're not making any money. And now they want to have a career shift into I want to learn how to code. I want to become a software engineer. I want to become a full stack developer. I want to become a QA engineer. La-di-la-di-da, right? But now how do they go about it, right? They want a shortcut. they want to go to a boot camp, or they want to so the amount of money they wasted on a useless, unfulfilling degree, right? And they rack up all that student loan debt. Now they want to just jump into our industry and try to take shortcuts and try to be on our level, and then like jump the gun and skip the line. And sorry, like it doesn't work like that. You're gonna have to put in time, and especially if you racked up, like not if you racked up, but let's say in that unfulfilling job that doesn't pay that much, but you were there long enough to get promoted and all that good stuff, where you make a certain level, right? But now, what do you think is going to happen when you're ready to shift into a different career field, into a different industry, right? So if you're let's throw out a number, right? Let's say you were making you got up to like 70K in the unfulfilling job that you were working, right? But now you're like, okay, you finally realize that this wasn't the right move, and you still have a bunch of student loan debt that you have to pay off because the government is not going to forgive them, right? So you have a bunch of student loan debt, and now what do? Right? So you want to transition, right? So now you go to transition, and you start learning, right? But let's say you're transitioning to software engineer, right? But and I'd say the most common to transition to would be like a full stack developer, right? So you're doing HTML, CSS, Java, and then as you keep going, like you're going to be doing like React, Mongo, DB, stuff like that, right? Node.js, all that good stuff. But the thing is, how much do you think you're going to start off getting paid? Because you're going to be a junior in that field, and based on the type of job that you get and like getting that experience that you need, like if you're not able to garner that experience on your own, then it's going to be very tough for you to put it this way. You're gonna have to take a step back in order to move forward, right? So let's say you're making that 70K, and you actually like do the work that you need to learn how to do this stuff, but you don't have that experience of working in an IT, in a professional IT environment. So you might have to take a step back where you're starting off making $50,000, $60,000 a year. And now, are you able to sustain that with your lifestyle? Like, is your lifestyle able to sustain that pay cut? So you might have to, so now the situation you might find yourself in is you're going to have to be working like hard to learn the code, right? You're going to have to keep maintaining your current job. And now when you're ready to take that new position that would possibly be paying you less than what you're making currently, but you capped out at what you're making currently, right? Because there's no more upward mobility there, but there's tons of upward mobility in the IT field, right? So now when you make that transition and you take a pay cut, but it's not able to sustain the lifestyle that you built, like that lifestyle creep. So now you might have to take a second job. You might have to take one of those gig economy jobs in order to maintain you until you start really getting promoted. And those promotions, they can take a year or 2 to 3 years. Like, and like let's say in a year, like you go up by like 10,000. So now you're about at the same that you were or close to it. But it takes time to like move up, and then like if you're gonna be hopping from company to company to get those real pay increases, right? But it's gonna be it's not easy just to say, oh, I want to transition to IT, right? You got to be strategic. Like the way that you were not strategic when you were choosing your major and your degree previously, now like it's going to hurt you, but it's never too late. But you have to understand the challenges that lie ahead, because when you were 15 years old, there was no one to give you that career guidance, or in school, either you didn't pay attention to what was being told to you, or the people who were giving you that information didn't know what they were talking about anyways, right? So it's not easy, right? But it's possible. But I just wanted to put that in your mind that when you're trying to transition to another career field, especially if you were capped out at a particular place, you might have to take a step back in order to zoom forward. All right. So keep that in mind. That being said, just wanted to clear the air with that, and let you guys know that although it is possible, nothing is given to you, nothing is handed to you. You're gonna have to put in the work, and if you really, really want to succeed, like although you take that boot camp to give you that intro to get your foot in the door, you still want to further your education to, if you want to grow in that field, and if you want to go to the top levels, you want to further your education. And the same investment that you made wasting your life away in that unfulfilling major and career, you want to make the right investment to take you to the top. So that being said, all right. So lastly, before we get started on our Q&A session, if you have not yet liked the video, please like the video, share the video with somebody who will find it useful, leave me a comment, interact with me in the chat, and last but not least, subscribe to the channel, and we will have some fun. All right. So where are we now? All right. So the show format, right? We are going to have 5 minutes for each question, and 5 minutes for each question. And once the 5 minutes runs out, you will hear this sound. All right. So I gave Stone Cold the morning off. He was not awake yet, so he might or might not be back next week. I am not entirely sure yet, but we have the sound. All right. So that is what we will hear once the 5 minutes runs out. And when we're ready to get to the next question, I will hold that off, so you will hear that as we're about to get started. And let's put our timer up on the clock. Okay, and we are going to reset that to that. So we have 5 minutes on the clock. All right. All right. And let me make sure that our stream is going well. Yes, we are good to go. All right. All right. Oh, and one more thing to do is I'm trying this thing out, right? I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work out, but what we're going to do is when I ask, so the question that we'll be talking about, I am going to put it, I'm going to try to put it on the screen. If I don't like it, I'm going to remove it. And then I'll come back and refine it a little bit more in the future. But hey, we build the plane as we fly it, but we do not take the submarine as we build it, because that is unsafe and we do not want to implode. So, that being said, let's go with our first question. So where are my questions? Okay, so here are my questions. So the topic of the first question is, let's see how this works. Let me put this up right here. Oh, look at that. So the topic of the first question is how to start with manual and automated testing. And I will go into some more context. It says, recently just started a job as a manual and automation tester, React, and I kind of don't have literally any experience in this area. I'm a student and got first job. I am a student and got this as my first job. I watched some YouTube videos about, oh my goodness. I watched some YouTube videos about it, and I'm still a bit confused about the overall principles of testing. Can someone guide me real quick with literally any source that could help me doing and understanding the job better, or any life experience as a tester? Because at university, we did just some kind of easy test in Java, and that's all. Didn't even know that this was a thing as a full-time job. I heard about QA, but never checked out what they actually do. Thanks if someone could help. All right. That is the question. How to start with manual and automation testing. All right, let's start the clock. And I am going to remove this from the screen for now. All right. So how to start with manual and automation testing. The first thing that oh my God, like the first thing I'm like, how did you even get this job, right? So you didn't even look into what QA was and you got the job. You know what? This is what I'm going to say. All right. This is what I'm going to say. The company that hired you got what they deserve, right? If they're going to hire with somebody with no experience and they didn't even like, and not having experience is one thing, but they don't even care that you didn't even look up what automation, like what, not even what QA is in general, right? Because there's many components to a QA. It's not only automation testing, it's not only manual testing, but the fact that they didn't even like care, like, I don't know. This is super confusing to me. But let's break down your question, all right? Because this question is kind of frustrating. So you watch some YouTube videos and you're still a bit confused about the overall principles of testing. So I'm curious, like, what was your major, you know, and where is this job located? Where are you located? Because so you're confused about the overall principles of testing. There are a gazillion videos on YouTube about the different types of testing, different principles of testing, introduction to testing, right? And then you got this job, like, so you're able to find Reddit to post this question, but are you telling me you're unable to just do a simple Google search of like different types of testing, the principles of testing? You don't know any online learning platforms that you can search testing? Like just in the last Q&A session that we had last week, there was a question about someone who said that they were transitioning from construction, and there was a website called Allison that they can learn from, which I did check it out, not in depth yet, so I'm not ready to speak on it yet, but it does look pretty interesting. But like there's Udemy, which it has so many different QA videos. There, I'm sure Coursera has something. There's so many. There's boot camps and everything like that. So like why, like, what is it that you've done to understand the principles of testing? You've watched some YouTube vids, right? Some YouTube videos. That's it. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem that you're putting in the work, the effort that you need to do this job, or quite frankly, any job. You know, maybe this was handed to you. I don't know. So, and then it says, can someone guide me real quick with literally any source that could help me doing and understanding the job better? Well, I'd say Tech Coach Ralph is a wonderful, amazing resource that can help you and guide you to doing the job better, or any life experience as a tester. So also this channel definitely can help you. So you said at university, we did just some kind of test of easy tests in Java, and that's all. So based on that, it seems like you might have done like some type of computer science type job major in college, but like you got to be more descriptive than that, right? Like, are you saying that in Java you learn how to, like, the basics of doing unit tests or what? Because from what I've seen is that at the university level, you know, college universities, they don't teach about quality assurance. They don't teach about quality. Like, even, like, to be honest with you, even on these online classes, like on Udemy and stuff like that, when they teach you about Java and about they teach you about Java, they teach you about Python, where they're teaching you how to code. I don't even see them talking about unit tests or any type of QA in general. It's normally like, this is how to code and it works. You know what I mean? I don't see the proper allocation to the quality of the software that the language that they're teaching you. So I would like to see more focused on unit tests inside of those like 100 days of code type classes, where they also teach you testing your development. And it would be even nicer if they would do it with like the TDD principles, where they're teaching you how to refactor and all of that stuff. I don't know if that's too advanced, but I don't know. It's yeah. So that's what I'd say. Let me just finish up this question, and this is the part that bothers me the most, right? You didn't even know that this is a thing as a full-time job. You heard about QA, but you never checked out what they actually do. How did you even, like, I don't know, how'd you get this job? Like, and if you don't know what a job actually does, like, why are you applying for it? If you don't do something drastically very quickly to come up to speed on what QA does, you will not have that job for very long because you're putting the company in risk as a QA tester, unless that company just doesn't care about the quality of their software. But you need to do something very quickly to ramp up and check what QA actually does. And I would say that's more than posting it in a subreddit. So with that being said, I think we are good to go on that question. And we shall move on to our next question. So let's say me load up the next question into our no, not that. Let's try this. Okay, that works. All right, we are ready to go to our next question. All right, so our next question reads, could you share with me your methods for documentation? Do you have testing software that handles this? Do you have a homegrown solution? So let's get into it. So this question is about documentation, and it says, hey, fellow testers, could you share with me your methods for documentation? Do you have testing software that handles this? Do you have a homegrown solution? My team uses Jira for sprint management. My testing just goes in the comments section of the story. I have a graph I use to format, and the graph goes like this: test case ID, title, description, expected results, actual results, pass or fail. I would love to hear what others are doing. If anyone has insight with using Jira to track everything, that's all the better. Thanks, everyone. So that is a amazing question, right? So let's get rid of this. All right. So here is the deal when it comes to testing, right? Or documentation for our testing. Okay. So there are different. There's many different ways to document and to test. The way I've done it in the past is I've combined different strategies in order to be able to create my QA documentation. So we're gonna break it down. We're gonna break it down like this, right? So we are going to do the different ways that I've done it, and then we're going to do the different ways that I've done it, and then we're going to do how I've combined them so we can have proper documentation, right? So I've used software. So okay, I'll start with this. The way that I think was the best that I've done it is there was a test case management software that I used where you would store the test cases, like the steps that you would go through to reproduce, to go through the software that you're doing the QA on, and it would also manage the test runs. And when you would trigger the automated test, it would log the results of the automated test inside of the software, right? And then we updated what we like, since we're using Java with the TestNG listener, we updated the listener to keep track of all the steps that were being followed, right? So as the test cases are running, where the steps that that is doing the automated tests are doing, it would log it, so we would be able to see where it failed, right? So we're able to report on the test cases. We're able to report on the test runs, that whether you're doing it manually or whether you're doing it automated, you're able to see the results of like where the test failed, and you're able to see like run reports to see like how the test did and everything like that. So that's how we. So that was my favorite way of managing like the documentation, because that way you had the documentation for the actual test, for the actual requirements. We had the documentation for the test runs, right? So that's one way. I think that was the best way. Although it is kind of pricey because the software that we're using to do all of that, it wasn't free, so you had to pay for it, and all that good stuff, right? So now, some other ways that I've done it is using. So the way that I like the least is like having those Excel spreadsheets that have that you manage the test cases, because they're all locally. They have to be saved somewhere. But the way that I've also done it was using Google Sheets, and it's a way of doing it. I'm not particularly fond of that way because the visibility, and let's say you have each test case in its own Google Sheet, like trying to find it becomes a mess. To honestly, I think having a database to store the test cases is a much better way of doing it. And then, like, let's say there's different teams that are working. Having a centralized repository for your company for your test cases, to me, is a much more optimal solution, because anyone can access it, and like as long as they have the proper permissions, anyone can access it, and they can see what's going on. To me, it's just better, right? To be able to have that central repository. Not everything is not in a silo, right? So that's how I would say. And then you can also use that for your documentation. So your test case, because I've used like the test cases that I've written for documentation to provide to clients on how the software works, all of that stuff. And so that's in particular to documenting the test cases. And then, like, if you have a test case management software that can connect to your automation scripts, then that's all the better. If not, like I was mentioning about earlier about the report portal QA metrics implementation, that is also a wonderful way to document the results of your tests as well. So follow along for that live stream, and you'll see how we implement that and how the test gets documented. So those are the some ways to document it. Also, you said you mentioned that you're using Jira. I know Jira does have test case management plugins. That I don't remember what they call them in Jira, but there's things to manage test cases. So you can, if there, from my understanding, like everything for Jira is based on the amount of users that you have. So that can be costly as well. So you'd have to investigate that. But I would say that the way that you're currently doing it of logging the test cases inside the comments of the tickets of your Jira stories, that's probably the worst way that you can ever do it, because how are you going to keep track of that? Like there's no centralized location, and you have to go back and like dig through the tickets, update the comments. Like if that's the case, like you would be better off storing them in a Excel or a Google Sheets, and then linking the location, like linking that file or URL to your story. But having the test cases inside the story itself, that's not going to work out for you. There's no way of searching that. There's no way of tracking it. And if the story is not in your sprint, in your backlog, if it's closed, like it's going to be so hard to go back and look for that. So I would not recommend that at all. I would say find a new way immediately. One thing to mention is that we are going to be implementing our own test management solution, test case management solution, where when I say our own, like we're going to find one, we're going to install it the same way that we do with Report Portal, the same way that we do with like we did with Docker, with whatever that we're using. We're going to implement it so that way that can be part of your portfolio, where you show in your interviews that you've created a test case management system where you are documenting and tracking the test cases that you've done for your clients, and when I say clients, those are the sites that we go through and we analyze and we automate to build our portfolio. And you log it there, and that way you can show that, yes, like you're forward thinking about how you are documenting and how you are reporting and all that good stuff, right? So look out for that live stream that'll be coming in the near future. But that's how. So those are the different ways that I use for documentation for tracking my test cases and my run results and how the automated tests run. So great question, I must say. All right, so let's get rid of that one. And what's up next? Oh, that's a good one. All right, cool. So let's do that. Let's go to get the question ready. All right, we're ready to go. So our next question. So the headline is, let's move this over here. Okay, so I'm starting to feel confident in my testing and my procedures, but I feel I'm sort of not getting compensated salary-wise according to my knowledge. So that's the highlight that I took from this question. But let me read the whole thing to you, right? So it starts off. Questions for my fellow testers. I have a question for you all. Last year, I started as a tester and I'm getting better every day. I'm getting better every day at this job to the point where I'm helping other juniors. Oh, great job. Now, I'm starting to feel confident in my testing and my procedures, but I feel I'm sort of not getting compensated salary-wise according to my knowledge. I wanted to find out what is the average salary for a mid-level tester. I did a quick Google search, but all the sites were giving different figures. Based in London, UK, I've got a MSc Network Management and Cloud Computing and BSc Computer Science. Thanks in advance. So why did I play that? So the reason I played that last sound is because there's no... This kind of goes back to what I was referring to earlier, right? You want to race to the top without putting in the work. So what do I mean by that, right? You started last year as a tester, and I congratulate you for getting better every day. And you said to the point that you're helping other juniors. Well, that's part of your job, right? To help other juniors, as I'm sure that they help you. But the thing is, like, okay, I'm happy that you're starting to feel confident in your testing and your procedures, but now all of a sudden, because when you knew nothing, you were okay with the pay that you were getting, but now all of a sudden, as you're gaining some knowledge, right, a year of knowledge, now you're feeling some type of way because you don't believe that you're getting, like, I feel I'm sort of not getting compensated according to your knowledge. So I'll say this. A year into QA, your knowledge is not that much. Seriously, it's not that much, right? So, and why do I say it's not that much? Because there is so much to learn, and going from 1 year of I guess either junior QA or regular QA. I'm not sure if you are a QA tester or QA engineer. I'm not sure exactly what it is that you're doing, right? But experience is more than 1 year. You're still at an entry level. If you were to go to apply for another job, you'd still be entry level. And the thing is, what's happening is, I think you lack appreciation for being given the opportunity in the first place. And now your feelings, I'll tell you this, facts do not care about your feelings. If you do adequate research and you search for a QA I don't know, tester or engineer with 1 year of experience, you'll see what the general compensation is for that. Which and another thing is too, right? If if you feel that you're not being compensated adequately, well, I would say then why don't you test out the job market and see what people are willing to pay you? Because, like I said, facts do not care about your feelings. So the fact is, you're getting compensated what you're getting compensated, and if you can get more, right, your feelings won't matter. It'll be what your current employer is willing to pay you, or the next employer is willing to pay you. The same way that you compete against your the same way that you compete against your either coworkers or anyone who is a QA something, whether it's a QA tester, QA engineer, software developer, and test, whatever it might be, right? Like those are your competition. But in the same breath, companies are also competing for you too. Now the question is, how much are they competing for you? I get messages on LinkedIn every single day saying, "Oh, do you want to come? Like we're looking for this position, we're looking for that position, QA engineer, this, senior QA, lead QA, all these different type of positions that companies are looking for." Right now, the question is, are you getting that? And how much are they, like, if you are, how much are they willing to pay you? And that's what's going to tell you, like, it's going to alleviate your feeling of not being adequately compensated. And it's whatever that a company is willing to pay you. And if a company is willing to pay you more, and you go out there and you apply for it, and then you get accepted, and they give you the offer, then maybe you're right. Maybe you're not being adequately compensated. But if you are not getting requests, and you're not getting offers to be paid more, then you are where you are, and you still have more to learn, right? And I would say now, the place that you are, use that as an opportunity to learn. Are you showing the right amount of value in that company that you are now, that they would say, okay, yeah, we're going to give you a raise because you've been doing A, B, C, and D? Or are you in the mentality of, oh, I'm not getting compensated the way that I should be compensated, so and I'm upset, right? So what is it that you're doing, you know? And we didn't start the timer, but that is okay because we are done with that question. I would say continue to do Google searches and to and start applying for other, if you don't like the situation that you're in, start applying for other jobs and see what you get, and put your foot out on the market and throw out some bait, see who bites. You know what I mean? So that's that. Let's go to the next. Let's see. We did 1, 2, 3. All right, we did 3 so far. All right, cool. So this one is going to be a good one. Here. All right. So we are going to. All right. So we got our timer up. Let me read the question. Okay. This one says. Let's put it up on the screen. So the title is "Fake It Till You Make It?" Question mark. Yeah? All right. So it says, "Fake it till you make it." Hi, guys. I wanted your advice for me as an incoming QA lead of a booming startup company. Before I start, I'll give you my background. I am a JS developer, and this is my first job since I graduated in 2018. And the main task that I have is so boring, and just parsing, scraping, and getting selectors of DOM from different websites. I always watch tutorials about React to upskill, but I always fall in a tutorial loop, and I even joined a bootcamp, but nothing happens about my skills. I always forget and not used. Oh my God, the English that some of these people use. I always forgot and not used or used to or even confident about it. I also fail on job interviews as I want to upskill. Then, last year of July, I switched my career to a QA engineer and watched a lot of tutorials and LinkedIn learning programs to also get certificates. I'm happy doing it with Java and C# in Selenium. Then then applying to different companies started since September. I guess they mean I've been applying to different companies since September. Uh-oh. It's about to get real. I even faked my resume that I have QA experience, and the company has that program where you can try different roles or positions as long as you requested it. So I've lied to them that I enjoy doing testing more. I even lied. I even lied. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I even lied about that the company doesn't have an automation on their regression testing, and I'm the one who proposed and built it from scratch. Fast forward. Luckily, this February, I got hired as a QA engineer. Maybe unluckily. I told them all the lies that I've been saying to all. I applied to them hoping that I'll gain some experience with the company, specifically in automation tests. I was shocked that there were no automation testing, and we will start it from the scratch. We are 3 people, including the lead. My co-QA engineer has no experience in creating automated scripts. She applied for manual testing team, but she was assigned to us. The lead that we got came from manual team and has a background of programming, but no automation testing experience. So then I created it all from the start and uploaded the repo and started creating automation scripts. All right, it's getting good. It's getting good. Then the urgent project happened, and we were stopped creating automation scripts as we were told to help the manual team on the project. Everything I did was good and even praised by the devs because of my attention to detail and very clear on the bug tickets that I've created. That's all because of ChatGPT. Yesterday, the lead of the manual testing and my lead on automation testing set up a meeting with me. They told me that they were going to be project manager and business analyst, and they were going to promote me as a QA lead. I'm shocked. Me too, my friend. Me too. Excited, but damn, I don't know how and what are the best practices as a QA lead. Could you guys help me as I'm just turning to 5 months as a QA engineer? Well, well. What do we have here? Fake it till you make it. Well, how'd that work out for you? So, the situation that we have here is lying on your resume, lying on your credentials, lying about everything. And you get into the situation where your lies catch up with you. One of the things that I always tell people is do not lie on your resume. Because, and especially like if I'm interviewing you and you lie on your resume, I'm like, I question you about the things that are on your resume, and I go, and if being that I know the details like the back of my hand about QA, and QA engineering, all that stuff, and I have a good understanding of like software engineering and stuff like that. I'm going to I dissect your resume. I go down asking you, okay, well, tell me about this thing on your resume. How'd you use this at this company? How was that used? I go through all these details and I'm listening to you. Are you stuttering? Are you stumbling across your answers and everything like that? So I don't know who was doing the interview at this company, but you got through, and now you're promoted to a QA lead. So what does that mean? So as a QA lead, you are responsible now for the quality of work that your QA engineers or QA testers do under you. So it's a bit QA lead. It's not necessarily a management position. Depending on the company, right? But it's not necessarily a management position, but it is a you are responsible for the quality of work of the QA engineers that are under you. So if they are they properly going through like the testing cycle, catching bugs, all that stuff. Now, the honest truth is, you sound lazy, right? Like you don't really care about what you're doing. You don't really care to learn anything. You're taking shortcuts left and right. You're using and don't get me wrong. Like I love Chat GPT. I love AI based tools. I use a lot of it myself, but not necessarily for my job. And I wouldn't use it to do my job for me. And I would use it as supplementary to making things like a little bit more precise and making things clean. But I need to have the knowledge of up here of how I would be testing and answering questions. And like so while tools like ChatGPT and other AI tools might be refining the words that I'm using, right? But it's not my like I am able to do it without it. It might make it easier. But the thing is, like you're saying that and you're laughing about it, right? You're freaking laughing about it. Like what gives? Like you really don't care. And like because I at first I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind helping this person, but the way that you write this whole thing out, like maybe you shouldn't give all those details. Maybe you should have lied some more. Like, why did you just keep lying about how you got to where you are? Because if honesty was never your best practice, then why start all of a sudden now and then expect people to feel some type of sympathy for you? That being said, if you're serious about learning and being a QA engineer, a solid QA engineer, there's a lot of learning that you're going to have to do. Especially like if you have that experience as a JS developer, and you're this is the thing, like it's so hard to answer your question because you don't it doesn't seem like you care and you complain a lot. So you found it boring and unfulfilling and all this type of stuff. So then like you tried to learn about it, but you didn't really put much effort into it. So now you get funneled into QA, and now you're trying to keep my composure here because like the way that QA engineers work and the way that they represent the industry is very important to me. So you're laughing about not putting in the proper work, not doing the adequate amount of research that you need to do, and you find it funny, right? So you're just here infiltrating our community, and now you want our help. You know, I kind of see why you got the responses to your request that you did. You know, and I guess we'd need to have a conversation to see like where you really are with this, because you put yourself in a hole, and there's so many resources out there that you can use to maybe not necessarily tell you the details about being a QA lead, but it would give you the knowledge that you need to start ramping up and start to like become a valid and official QA tester, QA engineer, and lead your team and not lead your company to destruction. Because like I've said before, QA engineering, QA testers, etc., they are the last line of defense of our company. And with my goal that I'm trying to instill in every one of the people who work with me is not only having it to be the last line of defense, but also to have it to be the first line of defense. Have your voice heard from the beginning, have your voice heard at the end, have a loud voice in both spots, and then in the middle, you're working with all the ones who are with everyone doing the implementation, from like the product owners to the scrum masters to the software engineers, where you have a heavy influence on the outcome of the project, of the software that you're building. But if you take that attitude that you're taking about lying your way through, then you're going to miss very key things, right? And what if ChatGPT gives you the wrong information? How are you going to handle that? This is not the right way to go. And if you wanted to change it around, then you could definitely contact me, Tech Coach Ralph, and we could work on a plan to help you properly lead. We can work on a plan to help you properly lead your team and be the QA engineer, the lead QA who doesn't lie their way through their career. So take that into consideration. Hit me up if you are serious about this and you want to stop lying, because the more you lie, you're going to get found out and you're going to get terminated, and you probably deserve it if not already. So that's that. And sometimes, like, you have to give people some harsh truths, especially if you value your industry. You don't let people infiltrate and just do whatever it is that they want to do, run rampant. And we need to have gatekeepers of professionalism in our industry, or it will be taken over. So that's a tough one for me. That's very frustrating question. But let's move on. So okay. Where are we at? So all right, so I'm just marking where we're going to stop today. I try to get 7 questions in the show, and that way we don't go for too long. But we also have a good cadence, and we are able to and then if there's any questions that come in through the chat, then we give priority to those, and we'll address those, and we'll keep going. So no biggie. Let's see our next question. Get some coffee. Let me set up our next one. Let's see. Oh, I love this next question because I've been talking about this for a few weeks now. So all right. So let me bring the question up. So this one is about a QA portfolio. So let's. I love that sound. I'm gonna do it one more time. All right. So QA portfolio. Let's bring it up. So let's read the whole thing. So it says portfolio. Hello, everyone. I'm currently working as a QA engineer. I'm planning to build my own portfolio to showcase my work. If it's not too much trouble, could you kindly share your QA portfolio? Any form of sharing that is convenient for you would be much appreciated. If you have a digital portfolio or any online resources, please share them. Thank you in advance. All right, let's move that back up. So this one is I'm quite fond of this question because I've been talking about this for the past few weeks about setting up a QA portfolio, right? And when you think about it, what exactly is a QA portfolio? Because how could you, usually when you think about portfolios, you're thinking about, let's say you're a full stack developer or something like that, right? And talking about a QA portfolio, you would say, these are the websites that I've done. These are the websites that I've done. These are, let me see. What's up? Sorry about that. Put that up there. So you'd say, these are the websites that I've done. These are the technologies that I've used. This is what I'm familiar with. All that good stuff, right? So, timer. Wait, so, nope. Perfect. All right. So yeah, and it's like these are. So this website is built on this technology. So this, for example, I'm using HTML5, CSS, Bootstrap. It's using React. MongoDB is the database behind it. All that stuff, right? Or maybe you're using MySQL. Let's say you're doing it in Python and you have Flask, like all this different stuff, right? So generally, when we're thinking about a QA portfolio, how would you do a QA portfolio? So this is an excellent question. How would you do a QA portfolio? So this is how I would do a QA portfolio. And now that I think about it, I'm gonna build myself a QA portfolio as well, because like, why just talk about it? Why not build it? And maybe we can build it together, right? And so now you ask Tech Coach Ralph, how would we build a QA portfolio? Because we're not building a website. If we're building a QA portfolio, it's going to include automation tests. It's going to include test cases. It's going to include like defects, like bugs that would be reported, etc. So, how would I build a QA portfolio? What I would do is, and if you listen carefully, all the things that I would do, we've started to do them already, and we've touched on them. Okay, so the first thing I would do, I would pick some major websites and websites in different industries. So I would take an airline website, right? So let's say either a Delta, a JetBlue, an American Airlines, Spirit, Southwest Airlines, whatever it may be, right? I'll take one of those I'll say I'm going to take one or two of those websites, and that'll be my airline industry, right? And I'll say I'm gonna write test cases for that. I'm gonna write automation tests. If I find any defects, or maybe I'll make up defects, right? Maybe I'll make up defects. Like not necessarily have particular, like, that I found defects on the website, because you might not find defects, right? But just to show that this is how I would report a defect, I'm going to create defect reports for those sites. So now I take one for like the airline industry. I take one for e-commerce. So maybe maybe like Amazon, or maybe an ASOS, for example, Abercrombie and Finch, right? And those become my clients. So now I create a website, and you can use like a WordPress template, where it can be, and you can like take to house your resume, and to be and that would be your portfolio. So you can say, like, I would put unofficial clients, right? And I would say ASOS, Delta, JetBlue. What other websites are there? Like DoorDash, Uber Eats. Get some major websites, right? And those are going to be my unofficial clients. And then I'm going to write test cases for them. Let's say we write about 5 to 10 test cases each, right? And I will create like a defect or two for each, right? So now let's say we have five clients that we're using, 10 test cases each. That makes 50 different test cases on major platforms. And then we have let's say 2 defects each. That gives us 10 defects, right? Like in a variety of different industries. And then I will start to automate those 10 test cases. So now you're getting familiar with the code, right? You're getting familiar with like how to, and when I automate them, I'm going to do it in Java and in Python. And if you're interested in like C# or whatever, like you can do C# too. But I'm going to do it Selenium to get started, right? And I'm going to automate those. So that's 50 different automated tests. I'm going to implement the page object model, right? I implement the page object model. I'm going to, what else are we going to do? We have our test cases. We have our test cases documented. We have our bugs reported. We have our test automated. So now we push all those automated code to GitHub, right? So, and although we have like 50 automated tests, but let's say you do it in 2 different languages, so now you have 100 automated tests, right? And I push that to GitHub. So now they can see my code. They can see how I structure my code. I have my page object factory working in JavaScript and in I'm sorry, not JavaScript. I have it in Java and I have it in Python. And let's say you add more languages, you double that. Like you just add another 50 to it, right? And then so now I implement a test case management software so I can manage my test cases, and I put my test cases in there. So then I can also show that, all right, so this is where I house my test cases. These are where I run my automated tests. These are where like I have my defects tracked to keep going. So the same way that we're going to implement report portal, you send the results of your test cases, your test runs to report portal. So now your portfolio is showing a whole conglomerate of the testing process from beginning to end. So you have your test cases, you have your defects, you have your automated tests, you have your database where you store your test cases, and then you have the results of your automated tests. Now let's say you have that. And on your website, you have all that documented. You have the details about the website that you're automated, that you're testing and automating. And you can have a link to that GitHub for that particular one, all that stuff, right? It's gonna be amazing. Like you will blow your employers out of the sky, right? Like they'll be like, oh wow, like this person's really serious about the work that they're doing, because you're showing the end-to-end process of your QA testing ability, right? And then like as you go on, you can start implementing some REST testing, all of that. And then like as you build up your portfolio, right? As you build up your portfolio, you can start implementing new frameworks, right? So you implement, let's say Playwright, you implement Cypress, you implement what's the other, like maybe Detox. Like there's so many different testing platforms, right? That you can show like, okay, I'm well versed in here, and here. Okay, so that's how I would suggest you implement your portfolio. And what we're gonna do on this channel is I'm gonna implement my own portfolio, so I can also practice what I'm preaching, so you can see how it would come out, where you have a comprehensive QA portfolio that you can blow your interviewers out of the sky. All right. So we are done with that one. And we are going to move on to our next. All right, we have a sad one coming up. Let me just give me a second to check the details. All right. Let me see how this one is looking. All right, we're good to go. Okay, so now go back to this one. And all right, so next question. Let me get the title up for you. All right, next question. One more time. So the headline for this one is Feeling Stuck in My QA Job, Need Career Advice. So, okay, set our time up. All right. So this question, it's a long one, but it's a doozy. So it says, feeling stuck in my QA job, need career advice. I'm currently feeling quite stuck in my current job and could really use some advice on how to navigate my career situation. I've been working as the lead QA engineer with my organization for the past 7 years, and it used to be a fulfilling role. I even built and managed a team of 7 to 8 QA engineers from scratch and lead all things QA. New feature testing, regression testing, automation, Selenium, Cypress, Rest Assured, JMeter, load and performance testing, release sign-off, and handover to operations, support ops during rollout, support junior DevOps engineers, etc. However, due to the downsizing in 2021, the team has been reduced to just 2 members, including me. Since then, my job has become monotonous. Let's try that again. It's become, as you say, it's become one tracked and lacks the challenges I used to enjoy. Nowadays, I mainly focus on testing at the end of the development process and sign off for production releases. Additionally, I've managed the internal infrastructure such as environments and deployments, which I find rather unchallenging. To make matters worse, I'm no longer involved in the product discussion or grooming sessions. I used to be in the know when I was leading a team, but now I feel left out of those important conversations. On top of that, turning 40 has added some psychological pressure. I've been applying for QA manager roles, hoping for a change, but haven't had much success so far. I'm at a loss for what my options might be at this point, so I turn to you, fellow Redditors, for some guidance. What do you think I should do in this situation? Any suggestion on how to find more fulfilling work or advance my career? Have any of you faced a similar experience and managed to overcome it? All right. So this kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. So, what do you do? And I think we've addressed this too in the past, right? So, you do have some options, right? So, one of the options you said, like you've been looking for other places, but you have been quite rather unsuccessful in your trying to move, trying to go to a different job or company, etc. My first question is, why do you think that is? Right? Why do you think that is that so you have, let's see how much you had again. Yeah. So for the past 7 years, you've been in that role. And according to you, you've become like very well versed, doing all that type of stuff. But, how much of your own research and self-learning that you've done to improve yourself, are you just going based off what the company requirements are for you to do that particular job? Or have you been advancing yourself to become better, to become amazing, to become the QA engineer, not a QA engineer, but the QA engineer, right? So I'll give you an example for myself, right? So the first company that I was doing QA at, I moved up all the way to lead QA automation engineer, was leading a team of about maybe 5 QA automation engineers where we were, responsible for like writing all the automated tests, making sure that they were running on a schedule, checking the results and all that, right? But when things started to go left there, right, where they like the director wanted to go in a different direction, which I was not necessarily on board with, what did I do? Did I just like complain about it and say, "Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I'm just going to sit here"? No, I said, "All right, maybe it's time for me to make a move to a different company." Right now, what did I do to get to a different company? So, what I had to do was I had to go and look at what other companies' job requirements and standards were for the position of QA engineer or senior QA engineer, right? And I saw the things that I was lacking and what I had to work on, what I had to study. And that's what I had to go do. I would wake up 3 hours 3 hours earlier than I would normally would, and I would put in the work. I would study. I would study. I would study. I was learning. I was learning the. I had to relearn the basics of QA because the way that this particular company trained you was for their QA needs and not the industry standard QA needs. So I had to. All right, let me go back and let me start over. Let me learn all of these, and let me then learn the basics of how to do QA automation in a more comprehensive way. So now I have like the basic knowledge because I had the knowledge of QA, but it wasn't like the foundational knowledge. It was like a patch here, and I put it all together. But now getting that industry standard comprehensive knowledge, I got it all put together, right? And then I got the QA, the automation part put together too, to learn better ways of doing it, building frameworks using and this was through Java, but building frameworks. I was able to like understand how the classes work, the methods work in a not in a practical way, but in the sense of like an explanation and not just doing it, right? So now I have a better explanation. So now when I'm on interviews, I can explain it better. I can be better to express what I want to do, right? And as I'm learning that, I'm working like an extra 3 hours before like waking up 3 hours early and then going to sleep late, putting in the work, learning all the things I had to learn, right? So then when I put myself out there, I'm able to explain myself and not just be hoping that the company that I'm at takes a different direction. Now, the part where you're saying that so it lacks challenges that you used to enjoy. I've addressed this before. I've never felt bored or lacking challenges because I create my own challenges. I push, like I'm always researching, like as a QA engineer, just as like a software engineer, you should never stop. There's always new technologies coming out. I read a tweet this morning that like you spend all this time learning all these different frameworks just for them to be outdated in the next 5 months. As an engineer, there's always new things coming out, new standards, new things to test, right? Like new packages to test. Like a great example, the Citronella page object model package for Python. It was just dropped in my lap a few weeks ago by the developer of the package, and I went on. We did a live stream together, and we implemented it, and it was great. I had a great time doing it. So the point is, there like you can continue to advance, and you can continue to implement new new technologies, right? The same way, like I implemented, or we're going to implement Report Portal and bring that the same way, like we're learning on EC2. And let's say the company doesn't want to pay for you to use AWS services like EC2 to better yourself. Do it on your own, right? It's your responsibility, because I don't want to hear you saying this.
I hate it here. I want to go home.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Like that's how you sound. You sound like you're whining, right? Like you need to get better, and you need to like so whether you're going to stay at that company or you're going to go to another company, you need to put in the effort so you can make yourself better. So, and before we move on, like one last thing I want to address, right? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, so right here. So it says to make matters worse, I'm no longer involved in product discussions or grooming sessions. I used to be in the know when I was leading a team, but now I feel left out of those important conversations. So why is it that you allow yourself to be left out of those important conversations? Why are you allowing yourself to be left out of those important conversations? It's up to you to insert yourself, especially as a QA lead, right? You need to insert yourself into those conversations and those groomings. Is to say like, because how are you testing stuff that you don't know about? How are you signing off on stuff that you don't really have much input on? I would never, if I don't understand what I'm working on, I'm not signing off on it. Like I would say, like, you know what, the people who worked on it, you guys sign off on it, but I'm not giving I'm not putting my name on the line for a QA stamp of approval that I didn't fully understand, I didn't partake on. All right. No, I can't do it. So I would say it's your job, it's your duty, it's your responsibility to get involved in the product discussions and the grooming sessions, ask questions, ask QA related questions about, okay, what's the testing protocol? How are you writing your test cases, right? Like you cannot be left out. And I think it's and maybe the reason that you're being left out is because of the sentiments that you're feeling now, because maybe they see that you don't really care and you don't want to be there anyways, because people can see that, companies can see that, and maybe they're expecting you to, maybe they know that you're looking to be on your way out, and maybe they don't take you seriously anymore. Because when I have people who don't really want to do it, I don't really, like, I'm just waiting for them to go, right? Like, you don't want to be here anyway, so why am I putting effort into you? So if you want to turn that around, insert yourself. Say, hey, I want to be invited to the grooming sessions. I want to be invited to the product discussions. I want QA to have a voice. There's only two of us, right? And we should be part of it. We're not just going to be giving our stamp of approvals, because when you give a stamp of approval and your name is on it, you're also responsible for it. So no, get involved in those sessions, sessions, right? And you put QA on the map. You make us proud. All right. So with that being said, we are going to move on to the next one. All right. We have reached our last one. So for the last one, I think we need some more energy.
Please offer me your energy. I ask of you, please.
Thank you for that energy. So let me put the question up. Hopefully this fits on the screen properly. Oh, perfect. So let's do that one more time. That. So the title of this is exploratory testing. So let me just do this real quick. Let's put it like that. Okay, so what is exploratory testing? In our project, we do functional testing of the new enhancements, and then we do regression for our existing features. What is exploratory and why is it needed? That is a great question. All right, let's get rid of that question off the screen. And this is our last question for the night, or for the morning. Okay, so what is exploratory testing? because as you defined, like you said, you test the new features and then you do regression testing for the existing features. What exploratory testing is, it's exactly what it sounds like, actually. You are going through the website and you're going through the application, the website, and there's no detailed path that you're following. You are just navigating around the site, wandering around, clicking on different things, checking out different flows, looking at the UI, looking at alignments and stuff like that. You're just exploring. You know, you're reacquainting yourself with the website and the application. The reason that exploratory testing is important is because it takes your mind away from that specific funnel that you're going through. Like you said, right? We test features for the new implementation. We test that, and then you do the regression testing for the existing features. So it's very straightforward, very narrow-minded. And by narrow-minded, I don't mean like you're narrow-minded. I mean the testing structure is very narrow-minded because it's testing particular features, right? And making sure all those work. But we also need to give room for navigating around the website to see like how things look on the website. How's the alignment? All that good stuff, you know. Exploratory testing doesn't necessarily have to take that much time, but it is important because let's say a change is made, right? And the application itself works correctly and it's functional. All your feature testing pass, the regression testing pass, but I say it was a change in CSS that messed up the alignment of something on the homepage, and we're not visibly looking at that homepage, right? Then you can have the homepage looking bad. So now when the customer when your customers come on it, they see like it says, oh, what's going on? Like I the login button is misaligned, or this image slider is not correct, something to that extent, right? So exploratory testing, it's not going through the website, navigating around, seeing what's going on. You're just exploring it, like the same way we do like our software explorations. You're doing a website or software. You're doing your own software exploration for the software that you're building, right? You're not entirely focused on the functionality because you should have most of that functionality automated, but you can still go through and like you create a new account and you're looking at how does the page look? How is the user experience? Because automated tests and functional tests do not necessarily test user experience. It tests the functional flows, right? But you can take it from a mindset of like, okay, what's the user experience when I go through the login process, when I go through the create account process, if it's an e-commerce site, when I go through the purchase process, right? Like adding an item to the cart, going to the cart, can I update the cart properly? Can I check out? Is everything aligned? Is it easy to use? Like those are the things that you're thinking about during the exploratory testing. It's very visual based. It's very manual as well. Like there's not really an automated that I know of, at least, which we can look into definitely, but there's not really an automated exploratory testing way to do it because it requires user interaction the same way that when a customer is navigating through a website, they're exploring the website, looking for what they want, what they need, right? The same way, like exploratory testing, you're navigating through the website, exploring the website, seeing how it works, looking at it from a user perspective, all of that stuff, right? It's not like a functional test where you're very focused on a particular flow. How does this work? You're just doing a grand look around. You're kind of like window shopping, right? Let's say you go to the store and you have your, like, you don't have any particular plans to buy anything, but you're walking through the mall, you're looking at how the presentation is of the clothes in the window. There's no particular end goal, right? And during that, like you can come up with different opinions. You can come up with you might find bugs that you weren't expecting because it wasn't targeted through the flows that you were testing. So now as you're looking around, like you can find a bug here, a bug there, maybe not, right? But you can give some feedback to the product owners, to the developers. all those things come out of exploratory testing. They're not like a bug finding session. It's just getting familiar with the website again, with the application again, and providing feedback on what you find and things that could be done better or not, and just getting more acquainted. So that's what exploratory testing would be used for. And I think it's very important to do. It's not something that you have to do every single time, because then you might start like wasting time. But you should schedule some exploratory sessions that you would do to make sure that the way that the software that you're building is in the proper presentation, and that it's not only that it's functional, as in the applications are functioning as they should, but it's also functional in the appearance and the presentation to your customers. Good. Awesome. So on that note, get rid of that question. On that note, we are done for this morning on this wonderful, wonderful 4th of July. So hide the timer. And on our way out, I am going to mention again our live stream schedule. Our next live stream will be on Thursday night. We are going to finish implementing the Citronella page object model on our DoorDash implementation. We're going to finish that up, and we are going to we're going to have some fun with that. Like Hey Chloe left me some comments on the video, which I'm going to go ahead and try implementing that on the live stream, and we're going to go from there. We have our Sunday afternoon where we're going to do the report portal, so look out for that. Next Tuesday night, I will see you at around 7:15 p.m. Tuesday night, where we are going to be answering some more questions. All right. So we have our live streams Sunday afternoons, Tuesday nights, Thursday nights. We have our pre-recorded that are coming out on Mondays, Candid Conversations, Wednesdays, Software Explorations, Fridays, The Bug Bite. Look out for those. And throughout the week, we have shorts that might be dropping. We have additional content where we clip up these sessions, and also sometimes I might clip up like cool things from our software explorations, and I'll put those out as well. But there's no consistent schedule for those. Those are like as I find them and I think they would add value, I'll put those out. So look out for those as well. Like tons of content that are being released in different forms, right? So there's short forms for people with like me with like the ADHD that can't follow for too long. I have those very short ones, and then we have our like 5 to 10 minute clips where we might take like this long show right here. Right now we've been going for like an hour and 40 minutes. Well, I'll take the questions and I'll clip them up and I'll put them in a short form. So if you want a direct answer, you just go to that and get that answer that you want. Same thing from the clips. Like I'll take like little insights that I think that I find valuable and I think that you would find valuable, and I'll clip that up so you can get like very targeted things if you can't follow along the live streams. And then we have our live streams where we go for like maybe about 2 hours, usually, sometimes even more, where we're working through problems or we're answering questions, and we're just digging in, going deep into the software, so we can get those solutions that we need. So you can be the best QA engineer or software engineer or cybersecurity engineer or DevOps engineer, whatever it is. I want you to be the best. All right. So with that, I want to say for you, and if you have not done so yet, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment because the chat is about to close. So as soon as this live stream is over, the chat closes and we will be back on Thursday night. So we are done for today.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.